Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of RPG Maker VXACE, the tutorial series. Today we will be doing something that I'm sure has been long anticipated. We will be learning how to make parallax maps. These are the beautiful maps that you see all over Google Images, all over the forums, all over other games that you've played that are made in RPG Maker. These are the maps that do not constrain to the grid, to the tiles. As you can see, this map here, these trees do not line up with the squares. They are pretty much wherever I want them to be. And there's some nice decoration going on here. Obviously this is a quick and simple map that I whipped up just for this demonstration. This is a complicated tutorial, so please bear with me. It's easy once you get the hang of it and produces excellent results, but as far as this lesson goes, you've got to stick with me. So the first thing we've got to do is make the map. Basically, implementing it is the difficult part. So I hope you have Photoshop. If you don't, you're going to be in for a rough ride. I'm not really sure how you're going to do this with another program. There are other programs that work, but this is easily the best one. If you're going to dedicate yourself to a game and get it done, then you really should have the tools to do it. So the first thing we're going to do, this is just one way of doing this. I want you to go into your RPG Maker VXACE, your RPG Maker VXACE directory, and go into the graphics and go into your tile sets. There it is. And then I want you to go to dungeon or outdoors or something like that, whichever one. I'm going to go to outside number 2, okay? I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit, preferences, grids, slices, guides, and counts. Now what we're doing here is we're making sure we can line up pixels, line up the tiles that correspond to RPG Maker VXACE. What you need to do is make sure your grid box looks like mine. Grid every 32 pixels with a black coloring. You click there to change the color. Subdivisions every 8, set to lines and color black there as well. Hit OK, and then all you need to do is hit Control on your keyboard and at the same time press the quotation mark next to your Enter key. It should do this. You'll get these nice grids. You can see everything lines up beautifully. These are 32 pixels by 32 pixels wide. What I want you to do is take your selection tool and select one box perfectly. It needs to be perfect, okay? Then I want you to go to Edit, Define Pattern, and call this Grass Pattern, or something like that, okay? I've already set up mine, so I'm not going to hit OK. Then we need to go into our map, and we need to pick... I've already made a new map, and I've named it Parallax Map. You guys know how to make maps by now. And my parallax map here is a width of 17 and a height of 16, okay? Now you can make this any size you like, but this is the size of mine for demonstration purposes. What we need to do is multiply these by 32 pixels each, because each square is 32 pixels, and we want the same size in our Photoshop document. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say 17 times 32. That equals 544. A height is 16, so we need to do 16 times 32 is 512. Now if you go into here, I'll show you my canvas size. You go to Image and Canvas Size on your new document. You go to Pixels and you change the dimensions to what you need. So my width is 544 and my height is 512. And that gives me this nice grid that I've got here, this nice perfect size that will line up with my RPG Maker document. So if I make a new document with the same parameters, I start off with my blank background. Okay, I double click on the background and I hit OK. That makes a new that unlocks the layer and makes it a regular workable layer. Then I'm going to double click on the blank space over here and bring up the layer styles. And then I'm going to go to Pattern Overlay, and it's going to give it that little weird texture. You're going to double click on the Pattern Overlay, double click on the pattern box here. Oops, or maybe just single click, I guess I'm mistaken. And then you're going to click on your new pattern that will have appeared that we defined earlier, the grass pattern, okay? You click that and hit OK. You can remove the lines now and you'll see that you've covered the ground with grass. Beautiful. Then you need to go and find yourself some parallax resources. They are all over the internet. If you go on Google, you can search RPG Maker parallax resources and you'll find all sorts of things. If you go to images, there's stuff here. You can see all sorts of loose images that are made for parallaxing. You know, there's stuff like this and all sorts of things. The Celiana tiles, which are beautiful for parallaxing. She's one of the best parallax tile creators. So I myself have created my own master sheet of parallax tiles, and I have that saved, hold on, to my desktop. I hate the Photoshop browser window. So my parallax resources, I have something called a master sheet that I've put together, and this is something you should get in the habit of doing for yourself as well. Where is, there it is, okay. So what this is a page full of stuff that I have assembled from different locations and resources and things, all the stuff that I like to use on a regular basis. So I basically grabbed these trees from my master sheet, and then I copied and pasted them onto my, my canvas, and arranged them in a way that eventually got me this, okay? And so you can figure out how to do that on your own. I'm not going to teach you that. That's basically a Photoshop lesson, not an RPG Maker lesson. So what you need to do is save this as a whole. We need to go to our Documents, our RPG Maker VXACE folder in Documents, and go to your Games folder. Not your RPG Maker VXACE directory, but your project directory. And we need to go into the graphics, and we need to make a new folder called Layers, okay? I should have it here. Yeah, Layers, right here. And I've named this one piece, this entire piece here, I've named it Forest Parallax, and I've made the mistake of making it 2 words. Make it 1 word, please. Yeah, Forest Parallax, okay? And that is a JPEG, by the way. And then your second image, what you're going to do is you're going to drop out everything that will be underneath the player. If I just put this into the game, the player will be able to walk over top of the trees. The game doesn't understand what's supposed to be above and below because you've only got one flat image. So what you need to do is drop out everything underneath the player until you have something that looks like this. All these things will be above the player, okay? Now you'll see that I've cropped the bottoms of the trunks off so that he can walk in front of the trunks but behind the leaves, okay? That kind of thing. And what we need to do is save that image separately under, oops, what have I done? So I'm going to go into Documents, and I'm going to go to RPG Maker VXACE, Practice RPG, Graphics, and go into my Layers. And I want to name it the same as my Forest Parallax. It's going to be, take this out of the way, Forest Parallax upper layer, PNG. This one has to be PNG, not JPEG. Your bottom layer could be JPEG. That way it's a smaller file. JPEGs are smaller than PNGs. We're going to save this one as a PNG though, because it needs to have this transparent layer. So we're going to say save, and it needs to be interlaced, otherwise the transparent layer will turn to white. So we'll say OK. Now the next step is where it gets complicated. We're going to visit my friend Galv's script website. The website itself, if I go to Galv Scripts, the home page here, you can see that the website is galvs-scripts.com. Galv is a partner of mine. We try to make RPG Maker games together. We've made Ninja Claus is one that we've made so far. He made Pirate Rush and I made Alter Legend. He's gone to the liberty of creating a massive list of scripts that he has written himself for you, and organized it into this beautiful website. We're going to go to the audio visual scripts, and we're going to go to the layer graphics scripts. Okay. Now this brings us to this page, and we're going to just go right to get it here. Okay. So what we have is this massive thing that he has typed out on his own. Give him a round of applause for that. And we were going to start here, right in the hyphen, or the number sign, sorry, not hyphen, and we're going to click and drag. If you start behind the number, you'll get the numbers, and that is bad. We don't want that. So behind the number sign, click and drag. You have to go all the way to the bottom. Absolutely all the way to the bottom until it says End Layer Graphics Plane, and you need to Control C to copy that. We need to go into RPG Maker VXACE. We need to go into the Scripts tab here. We need to go into the section under you won't have this indicator script, that's just on mine, unless you've watched every single video I have and put that in yourself. We're going to insert twice to create this section here in the middle, because I like to divide all my scripts by one space. It makes it easier to look at. And we're going to say Galv's layer script right in there. That's the name of our script. It's good to include the writer in your title, the author, that way it's easy to credit later on. And we'll hit Control V. Most scripters will include the name in the script like this, but not all of them do. So I Control V'd into this space, and we're going to hit Apply. We've put the script in. If you need a more detailed lesson of how to apply scripts to your game, I have a tutorial on that. See if you can browse through my videos and find it. It's pretty well labeled, I think. Now, if okay, so there's pretty good instructions in here. So basically, we need to go through this. You should take a good read of this yourself. You need to do something called a script call to use this, and he's got an example of the script call here. Basically, right here. This is his version, his demonstration of the script call with the names of what go into the script instead of the actual values. And here is an example of the script with actual values. Okay? So what I want you to do, I want you to highlight this up until right to the end. Yep, that's what we need, right to the bracket. I want you to Control C, okay? This is just going to get us the format. Then I want you to get your map to look like this, I have saved, like I showed you, I saved both the files into the layer folder that we created, but I also saved Forest Parallax into the Parallax folder, okay? The reason I did this is because you can then go and insert it into Parallax, okay, and say Show in Editor. This will allow us to work with this later, but it allows us to see it in the editor. We cannot see it with the script, and you'll see why in a second. So I want you to go to the Event button, and I want you to right-click in the corner, top left corner. It's always good to put your parallel process events that are always going to run on this map in the top left corner for organization purposes. You can put them wherever you want, but I like top left corner. Parallel process is what we're setting this to. It can be any priority, and what we're going to do is double click here, and we're going to find the script call. There we go. So it's on the third tab, it's under Advanced, and it's called Scripts. So we're going to hit Control V because we've copied this, right? Alright, so we're going to do a bit of back and forthing because this is how I want you to learn this, okay? So I need to open this back up again. I accidentally closed it. RPG Maker VXACE. Where my folder is so messed up. There we go. And graphics, and we're going to go into the layers. We're going to keep this open, okay? Because we're going to need those file names. So the first file name we're going to be working with, the first thing I want you to change is this water2 that's in quotation marks here, okay? So what we want is the Forest Parallax. So copy the name, hit Control C, that's all we need to do, and I want you to get rid of that and replace it with the name of your bottom layer. Okay, so 4 is parallax here. So the next thing I want you to do, we're going to go through this one by one. So the first two numbers, okay, the first two numbers, we're going to go into the script. As the map number and the layer number, okay? So the map number we get by right-clicking on here and on the map that we're putting it on and map properties. So our map number is 11, okay? The layer number is used like picture, okay? If you make a picture, if you show a picture, if you use the show picture command, you are told to pick a number for this picture. And it only determines how you handle the picture. It doesn't do anything else, but there can only be one picture per number. And so this is handled the same way. So if we edit this, remember, hold on, I forget which, so which comes first. So map, then layer. Okay, so our numbers here are handled like this. Our map number, in my case, not yours, it might be yours, but probably not, is 11. We'll pick 1 for the layer, but now you can never have another picture that is number 1 on this map, okay? On another map you can, but not this one. So we now have our map number and our layer number. So, and which is not to be confused with our z value, which we'll get to in a moment. So the next number, this is 0.3, well, remember the next two numbers, okay? 0.3 and 0.1. Let's go see what those are in the script. So the next two numbers, he's got 0.3 and 0.1. What are those? If we come up here, that is the x speed and the y speed that this layer moves. Now you're probably saying, well, moves? I don't want it to move, it's my background, and so that's exactly what we want to hear. This, remember this was named water. He had this as a water layer. You can use this script for moving pictures such as fogs and water. In this case we are doing a parallax and we do not want this to move, okay? So we're setting both of those to 0. The next two numbers we see here are 120 and -5, okay? So what are those two numbers? So they're the third and fourth number. If we jump back to the scripts, we're going to see that the third and fourth number is our opacity and our Z layer, okay? So opacity is the transparency, okay? For full transparency, if I show you the picture command again, show picture, you can see that full opacity is 255, okay? That is a good demonstration of no transparency whatsoever. He's got this water layer that is partly transparent, but we don't want that. We want full, absolute full opacity. His layer is set to -5, so it is below the player, okay? I'm not sure with his script if the ground should be 1. Like, I'm not sure what layer the player stands on, is what I'm trying to say. So leaving this at -5 is a good safe thing to do. If for some reason you have a hole in the ground and you want something to show underneath that hole, then we would go -6 to get that underneath this layer, -4 to make it above this layer, and still below the player, okay? So we'll say -5 to be safe. This is, yeah, so think of the Z layer as a hamburger. Your bun is one Z layer, your burger is another, and below and below and below becomes more negative, above becomes more positive, okay? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 digits in, so let's figure out the 5th, 6th, and 7th number values. What are they, okay? So if we look at this, -5 is here in our demonstration, -5 is the Z layer. So blend, X offset, and Y offset are our last three values. So what does blending do? Blending is, if you've ever used Photoshop, if I were to take this over here and put it on top of this in another layer, if I change this is blending right here, this box here. Our blending is set to normal. If I were to change it to something else, you can see that it's changing the picture. Blending is how the picture sits on top of the other picture. And it can do different effects. Like, look at how ridiculous that blending is. Now, I'm not sure what RPG Maker is capable of as far as blending. I'm going to delete that layer, but there are different, you pretty much have to toy with this. Oops, I don't need to be in there. Change that value at your own discretion and fiddle around, okay? That's this one here, that's blending right there. We're going to leave ours at 0 because we don't want any blending effects. You can fiddle around with that to see what it does for you. We just want ours to be normal. And for the most part, I think anything you're going to be doing, the blending will stay normal. These values here are the X and Y offset, and basically what that means is that allows your map to move in the way that a parallax does. So if you wanted this to be, you know, background scenery over top of a cliff, so you're standing on a cliff, and what we're putting in right now is the scenery off in the distance, and you want it to move around just a little bit in the background like it would if it was set as a normal map parallax. We would do that by putting values in here, you know. These allow for slight scrolling speeds when the player walks. But once again, this is a map parallax, a background map, and we don't want it to move. So we officially have everything we want. Okay? So I just want to double check with his script. We've got it set up perfectly. Beautiful. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do, we can do it in the same box. We're going to copy this, Control C. Actually, you know what? We're going to do it in a separate box just to be safe. Control C, Control V. We're going to put, so we're going to go into our folder. We're going to highlight this name, the upper layer, Control C. And we're going to come into the RPG Maker again, and we're going to replace the name. This is our upper layer, okay? We need to make this, we need to change the picture number to 2, or something, anything other than 1, or what you had for yours. And we need to change the Z value to something positive above the player. So we're going to say 2 to be safe, okay? Instead of -5, it's going to be 2. This will not only put it above the other map, but it will put it above the player. Perfect. So I'm going to hit OK, and that's all we need to do to make this second layer above the player. Finally, oops, I need you to add one more script command. It is the refresh layers command, and that is right here in the script. So just copy that to make sure you have perfect formatting, and I need you to go in here and I need you to say insert, oops, yes, insert, go to page 3, scripts, and just hit Control V and post that. Okay? So that's all you need. That's the complicated part, really. And I want you to hit apply and OK. That basically you can now after that you can copy this, Control C, and put that on every new map you make and just change the numbers. So you've done all the hard work basically. You might need to check the script every now and then to remember what each value is for, but other than that you can basically just copy and paste this event every time. After that you need to make sure you erase the event, right? You need to insert the erase event because this is a parallel process, otherwise it'll lock your game potentially. So we're going to hit save. Now what this does is this sets up the ability to walk on this layer and underneath the trees and all that kind of thing. But there's one more thing that we need to do. As of right now, you can walk on everything. You can walk through these bushes, you can walk through the trunks, because the RPG Maker understands this as, there's no passability set because there's no tiles. Passability is assigned to tiles for RPG Maker. So what are we going to do? We're going to go into our RPG Maker directory again. So for me, that's in my E drive, RPG Maker VXACE, RPG Maker VXACE, and we're going to go into graphics. We're going to go into our tile sets one more time, and we're going to go to, let's say, our C tile, okay? Inside C. Now I'm going to open this up in Photoshop. You can do it with whatever, program you want to use. And I'm going to go into the top left corner, and I'm going to delete whatever's there. Now, I'm going to take my brush, and this is for marking purposes, okay? You're going to have to do this whenever you make a new map, or you'll find your own strategy to do this effectively. Basically, what I do is I set up a bunch of maps all at once, and then I do this all at once. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to put one red dot here with a full opacity brush. Boom. And I'm going to make my brush blue. You'll see what I'm doing in a second. So just don't mimic this right away. Just kind of watch me for a second, and you can figure out your own strategy. So I'm now going to save this as. Okay, make sure you save as. Don't save as. So I'm going to my documents, going to RPG Maker VXACE, Practice RPG, Graphics, and this is my project folder, not my directory. I'm going into my tile sets in this one, and this is going to be my Parallax C. Okay, PNG. And I want it to be interlaced. So I'm going to leave this open in Photoshop, okay? I want it to stay open. So now what we're going to do, in this map, I want to change, sorry, you need to go into your database. I made one mistake. You need to go into tile sets. This is a one-time setup. You don't need to set this up again, okay? So this sounds like a lot of stuff. In my C, right here, in my, actually change your maximum to 7 or whatever, make a new blank. This one is your parallax. Sorry about the jumbled, this is a lot of information for me to regurgitate all at once. My brain trips over itself. So we're going to make a parallax tile set section, okay? And in the C, or wherever, I just pick C because it works for me. I'm going to pick my parallax C tile, okay? With my red and blue dots. And that's all I want for this tile, okay? Mode area, any type, sure, parallax, okay. Alright, that's all I want. When I go into my map settings, my map properties, I'm going to go into my tile sets, there it is, and I'm going to pick my parallax, okay? So if I go over to the C tab, I've got my red and blues. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick our mapping button, and we're going to put a red dot anywhere where we don't want our player to be able to walk, okay? So red, red here. We don't want them to be able to walk into trunks. Trunks, bush, trunks. He can walk there, I guess. Trunks. And I'm going to stop him from going too deep into these trees. Same up here. Don't want him to get too deep into the trees. Cool. I don't want him to be able to walk there either. Actually, sure you can. Then I'm going to take the paint bucket and I'm going to fill the rest with blue. Okay. Now, if you leave this as is, he can still walk everywhere. So what do you have to do? You have to go into your database where we were, and you need to go to this the C tab here, and you need to change the passaging, or sorry, the passage here. Make the red dots X's and the blue dots circles. Okay? This is what I was talking about right here. This is a pain in the ass if you're doing it one map at a time. Because what we're going to go do now is I'm going to go erase that and save as again. Documents, RPG Maker VXACE, Practice Project, Graphics, Tile Sets, Parallax C, save. Yes, I want to replace it. So what I've done is I've saved over the parallax tile set that we've applied to our game, and if you watch this, if I go to another map, any other map, if I just click on another map and then I come back to this map, the dots are gone, okay? But the pathing still exists, we just can't see it. That's why we put the markers in there in the first place, so we could see what we were doing, okay? But you don't want to delete those and put them back in, and delete them and put them back in, and delete them and put them back in over and over again. So what I like to do is set up a bunch of maps at a time. I'll make like 5, 6 maps, and I'll do the pathing for them all at once, so that it saves me some tedious back and forthing, okay? So I'm going to hit save, and that should have set up a map. Now maybe, I hope I haven't made a mistake. It's entirely possible that I did. But we're going to try... Oh, last thing, before we do this, I want you to, now that we've done our visual work, I want you to remove this from the parallax, okay? You don't want it to be in there, because it might do some funny things. It might show above layers, doesn't, who knows. So just get rid of it. By the way, this event should not be here. Okay. Put your player there, and we're gonna try this. Here we go. So look at this. Our map is on the bottom. This is exciting. And oh, so okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna make that one layer. So look at this. I can't walk through the bushes, so that's a success. We've got a pathing. Okay, got a pathing. All right. So what are we gonna do? Alright, so I actually just cut out a large section of me trying to fix that and figure out what wasn't working. Apparently, for some reason. So, I did end up keeping these separate in the end. I put refresh layer in the second box, as you can see here, refresh layer. In theory, it could be in its own complete box, script advanced here, like this. Each thing could be in its own box. What I ended up doing in the end, the only thing I changed, well, I did capitalize this, I don't know if it matters. I capitalized it both in the file name here and the file name in the folder, although it doesn't seem to have taken. There it does. It does when I click on it for some reason, but anyway. I changed the Z value to something ludicrous like 700. So just do 700 because it works. And as you can see, when I test the game here, there you go. I can get right under the leaves. So there you go. It all works here. The pathing is how it should be. And I can walk in behind the trees and over the ground. So there you go. That is all that is to it. If you have any questions, because this is a complicated tutorial, please ask in the comments, and I will do separate videos to deal with specific questions, okay? It'll be a troubleshooting video for this video. So yeah, if you have issues, ask in the comments and I will answer, okay? Thanks guys for watching this video. Click like, hit subscribe, and check out any of the other tutorials that I have by browsing through my video section. Thanks guys, I'll see you guys next time.